Hi, it's Joe Mazumdar from Exploration Insights, and we're at PDAC 2016. And now we're going to just check out a booth of a company I know very little about called Noront Resources that are looking to develop projects in the Ring of Fire in Northern Ontario. And we're going to talk to Stephen from Noront. And basically, what's Noront's main project? What are they trying to build?
Well, first of all, Noront is the largest property holder in the Ring of Fire area of northwestern Ontario.
And the Ring of Fire means what?
Ring of Fire is a horseshoe-shaped structure in northwestern Ontario, where there's a number of deposits. And at one time, one of the early geologists thought it looked like the Ring of Fire from the volcanic Ring of Fire in the Pacific.
Oh, okay.
So it got termed the Ring of Fire for.
And what kind of deposits are you looking for there?
We already have one large nickel copper deposit called Eagle's Nest, and that's our most advanced project, where we have 11 million tons of proven and probable reserves, and an additional 9 million tons of resources. Then we are also the main property holder of all the large chromite deposits, which are in the Ring of Fire, which were explored previously by Noront and a company called Cliffs Resources. Okay. And last year, mid-year, we bought all the assets of Cliffs. So now we hold all the chromite deposits as well, of which there's over 200 million tons in 5 deposits of chromite.
With the current commodity downturn, I mean, nickel's one that's impacted. I gather chrome, I don't follow the metal. So how does that work with the economics of your project right now, given the underlying market?
Yeah, there's no doubt that right now the price of commodities is significantly down. Nickel's down substantially. Nickel's currently about is in the $4 range, when we believe the long-term price will be in the $8 to $10 range. So there's no doubt there's a significant, and all base metals have been impacted by a little bit of slowdown in the economy, particularly from China. And likewise, chromite is equally impacted. However, most developments are longer term in orientation in nature, and tended to get funded by the quality of the deposit and by what is the longer term outlook.
So does your deposit fall into the lower cost quartile?
Yes, in fact, the Eagle's Nest project, nickel project, will be a first or second quartile producer. So it's a very cost effective project, and that's because in the nickel business, the projects that are multi-metal, and we have a nickel, copper, and platinum and palladium deposit. So it's a high value deposit, and so we believe it's a great deposit and will get developed. One of the major challenges we have is the remote nature of the Ring of Fire. So the key things that we're working on right now are working with the province and our First Nations communities to get an effective access to the Ring of Fire, which we're working on. We will believe will happen over the next short while. So that'll create a different environment for the development, which is critical to developing the deposits that are there. You can't develop either the nickel copper deposits or the chromite deposits without that access. So that's a critical component.
What are your next steps over the next
advance the access discussion with the province and the First Nations communities, as well as what we're doing right now is an exploration program to find what more nickel copper deposits, which we believe are absolutely in the region. And so that will give us more than one project, which will either add to the life of our nickel copper business in the Ring of Fire, and or allow us to increase the rate that we can mine it at. And we don't know that until we would find more deposits. So then the other thing we're doing is that we're updating the feasibility study that was completed in 2012 for the Eagle's Nest deposit. Okay. So there's some updates to do, and then we would have to go through the process to permit.
What kind of prices did you use in 2012?
About $9 was the price. Well, right now the price today is in the mid fours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you be updating it for prices as well?
Yes, yeah. We'll update it for the long-term price. It's $4. Nickel's a cyclic business. I've been in the nickel business for over 30 years, so it cycles and it's up and down. So we believe that there'll be a market for nickel again, that we'll get back to a reasonable price for the commodity.
Are other people's reserves at the long term 8? or whatever the market
Most
cost
people
is?
are at the long-term price of $8. If you look at the nickel business right now at $4, about 2/3 of the business is losing money at a $4 price. So $4 is not a sustainable price that will encourage anyone to new develop projects.
Is the demand for nickel basically on China? Or is it
No,
other places?
the demand for nickel is primarily stainless steel. And the largest producer of stainless steel is the Chinese, where they produce about 60% of the stainless steel in the world. So that's the largest use. The other uses are in high steel alloys. They're nickel steel alloys used in things like jet engines.
But it's dependent on the Chinese demand?
There's no doubt that the Chinese demand is a huge part of it. Like I said, they manufacture 60% of the stainless steel of the world now, and the other 40 is between Europe and the United States mainly. And a little bit in Korea. So there's no doubt that the softening of the Chinese economy has had an impact on all the price of all commodities. So
okay. Thank you very much,
thank
Stephen.
you.
I
Thanks,
appreciate
Joe.
it.
Pleasure to meet you.
Noront Resources is a big nickel chromite play in an infrastructurally challenged part of Canada. It's not like the project can't work, but right now where we are in the commodity cycle, it's definitely not something I'm buying right now. But if we're thinking that the nickel or the chrome market or China is going to turn around, this might be a play that we might look at if it truly is in the lower quartile of the production costs.